It's Tuesday morning, 7:45 a.m. You're sitting in the driver's seat in the parking lot at work. Engine off, radio quiet. You haven't gone inside yet. You're staring at your phone. Banking app open. Checking account looks fine. Then you tap over to the credit card balance. $4,850. Minimum payment due? $97. You just stare at it. You've been making payments for 8 months. The balance started at $3,200. You've paid roughly $850 total, and somehow you owe $1,650 more than when you started. You feel that familiar tightness right in the center of your chest. You're not buying designer clothes. You're not flying first class anywhere. You have a good job. You're making a professional salary. You are doing everything society told you to do. So why does this number never go down? My name's Peter. If you've ever made minimum payments for months and watched your balance grow instead of shrink, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because the minimum payment isn't designed to help you escape debt. It is mathematically engineered to keep you trapped in it permanently. Let's look at exactly how. Let's start with what actually happens the moment you pay that $97 minimum. Your APR is 22.99%. That annual rate breaks down to 1.916% per month. On a $4,850 balance, that's $92.93 in interest charges every single month. Your minimum payment is $97. So when you pay $97, here is exactly where your money goes. $92.93 disappears into the bank's profit column. $4.07 goes toward your actual debt. You worked hours at a job to earn that $97, and $4 of it went toward your freedom. Next month, your balance is $4,846, and interest accrues again at 1.916%. Same story, month after month. $97 in, $93 to the bank, $4 toward the balance. Now let me show you where this math ends up if you just keep paying the minimum and never add another charge. It will take you 441 months to pay off $4,850. That is 36 years and 9 months. And over those 36 years, you will pay $17,887 in total. Read that again. You borrowed $4,850. You will pay $17,887. That is $13,037 in pure interest. You are paying nearly 3 times the original amount, over 3.5 decades. That is not a worst-case scenario. That is just the unavoidable math of a 23% interest rate and a minimum payment.
But here is the problem. Nobody just stops using their card while paying it down. Real life keeps happening. You are making $61,000 a year. After taxes, $3,800 take home monthly. Rent, $1,550. Car payment, $425. Student loans, $285. Insurance and utilities, $340. Groceries, $350. That is $2,950 in fixed expenses before you even breathe. You have $850 left for the entire month. Minimum payment is $97. You are down to $753. But here is the trap closing. You are using the card for gas, for the occasional dinner, for the random Amazon purchase when you are stressed on a Wednesday night. You are adding roughly $320 a month in normal life overflow. So every single month, the math looks like this. You pay $97. You reduce the principal by $4. Then you add $320 in new charges. Net result, your balance grows by $316 every month. In 6 months, your $4,850 is $6,746. In 1 year, $8,642. In 2 years, $12,434. And your minimum payment grows with the balance. At $12,434, your minimum is now $248. That is almost your entire $850 monthly buffer. You are barely making the minimum, and you have nothing left for anything else. This is not irresponsibility. This is the system functioning exactly as engineered.
Here is why this works so effectively on almost everyone. It is called anchoring, and credit card companies have spent hundreds of millions of dollars perfecting it. Your statement arrives. What is the biggest, boldest number on the screen? Not the $4,850 balance. It is the minimum payment due, $97. Your brain locks on to $97 as the cost of having a credit card. $97 feels manageable. $97 feels responsible. You pay it. You get the green check mark in the app. You feel like you handled it. But $92.93 of that payment evaporated immediately into bank profit. You worked real hours at a real job to earn that money, and $4 of it actually moved you forward. Now think about what would happen if the bank demanded the full $4,850 right now. You would panic. You would sell things. You would stop eating out entirely. You would fix the problem immediately because the pain would be acute and impossible to ignore. But $97 does not cause acute pain. It causes chronic, low-level financial stress. It normalizes the debt. It becomes another utility bill. Electricity, water, credit card. It blends into the background of your life, and you stop seeing it as a crisis. And then there is the second mechanism, revolving debt psychology. With a car loan, there is an end date. You can watch the balance go down. There is a finish line built into the structure. With a credit card, there is no end date. There is just a minimum payment and a credit limit. You pay the minimum, balance drops slightly, you use the card again, balance grows. It revolves. It never ends. And your brain adapts. You stop thinking, I need to destroy this debt. You start thinking, I need to manage the minimum. And the moment that shift happens, the moment you go from elimination to management, you become their most profitable long-term customer for decades.
Let me show you what this pattern actually costs across a typical adult financial life. You get your first card at 23. Small balance. You pay it off. Good start. At 25, your car needs major repairs. $1,400 goes on the card. You plan to pay it off quickly, but life keeps happening. Balance drifts to $1,650. At 27, you move to a new city for a better job. Moving costs, deposits, new furniture, another $2,200 on the card. Balance is now $3,850. Paying minimums, sometimes a little more. At 30, you are still carrying $4,200. 8 years of payments. Total paid, approximately $9,300. Current balance, $4,200. That means $5,100 went to pure interest. You paid $5,100 for the privilege of borrowing an average of $3,000. At 35, balance has grown to $5,400. Total paid, across 12 years, roughly $18,500. Interest paid, $13,100. At 45, if the pattern continues, you have paid over $40,000 in credit card payments across your adult life, and you still have a balance. Most of what you paid was interest. Tens of thousands of dollars extracted from you for temporary access to a few $1,000s of credit. This is the minimum payment system operating exactly as designed. You are lying in bed. It is 2 a.m. on a Thursday. The room is completely quiet, but your mind is running the numbers. $4,850, 36 years, $17,887. You are doing the math. If you paid $200 a month instead of $97, you would be completely debt-free in 31 months. Total paid, $6,080. Interest, $1,230. But $200 a month means $103 less for everything else. That is groceries,
That is gas. That is any margin at all when something unexpected happens. And something always happens. That tightness in your chest. It is the realization that you are trapped between two painful options. Pay the minimum and hand the bank $13,000 over 36 years. Or pay aggressively and have no financial cushion for the next 3 years. Either way, the credit card company already won. They won the moment you accepted $97 as a reasonable response to a $4,850 balance.
So here is how people who actually escape this system think about it differently. They never pay the minimum. Not once. Even when money is tight, they pay something more. $120 instead of $97. Anything above the minimum means more dollars reaching actual principal. But the critical move, they stop using the card while paying it down. You cannot drain a bucket while water is actively pouring in, so they remove the card from their wallet, live on cash or debit until the balance reaches zero, and every single windfall, tax refund, bonus, overtime, goes directly to the card, not to savings, not to an experience, to the debt. Because $1 applied to 23% interest is worth more than $1 invested anywhere else. You cannot out-invest a 23% interest rate. You eliminate it first. Here is what actually happens when someone executes this correctly. After 18 months of aggressive payment, living tighter, redirecting every spare dollar, the balance hits zero. Now they have $200 a month that was going to the bank. They redirect it to savings. 6 months later, $1,200 emergency fund. 1 year later, $2,400. Car needs an $800 repair? They pay cash. Cycle broken. The person still paying minimums during that same 18 months? Still carrying $5,200. Paid $1,750 total, but $1,600 went to interest. Car breaks down, goes on the card. Balance hits $6,000. Cycle continues. Same starting point. Same 18 months. Two completely different financial realities. Because one person treated the minimum as the trap it is. The other accepted it as normal. Credit card debt is not a personal failure. The system is built to create it. Stagnant wages, rising costs, unexpected emergencies push people in. And once you are in, the math is deliberately structured to keep you there. The minimum payment is not a kindness. It is the most profitable number the bank calculated. Low enough that you can probably pay it. High enough that they collect meaningful interest. Structured so that paying it feels responsible while keeping you trapped for decades. Credit card companies do not profit from customers who pay their balance in full. They profit from customers who carry balances and pay minimums. That is their most valuable segment. And every element of the system exists to create and maintain that segment. You are not failing at credit cards. You are responding exactly as the system predicted. And the system is extracting tens of thousands of dollars from you across your lifetime because of that response. The minimum payment costs you $13,037 in interest on a single $4,850 balance. Across a lifetime of revolving debt, it costs you over $40,000. That is a car paid in cash. That is 3 years of living expenses. That is the difference between financial anxiety and financial calm. You can pay $97 a month for 36 years and hand the bank $13,000. Or you can understand exactly what is happening, treat the minimum as the trap it actually is, and take your money back. Most people choose the minimum. The ones who build wealth choose the math. If this video changed how you see that number at the bottom of your statement, hit the subscribe button. We are going to keep pulling back the curtain on the systems keeping the middle class broke. Let me know in the comments your current balance and minimum payment, and I will see you in the next video.